Right, all right. We
Thank
good?
you, my brother.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh,
you good. No, you get him first, and then I'll.
Okay. I'm in.
Good to go?
I'm here.
They feeling me.
We go Lucas with Big Old Belt Media with Jason, a.k.a. Remi Ransom,
Yes,
a.k.a.
sir.
Robin Hood of the Hood.
Yeah.
What do you think about your character this season? What are we getting out of Remi that everyone should look forward to?
His humanity. You're gonna see a real human being, living life and just learning how to navigate it, figuring out how to navigate it in the best way that he can, right? And so you're gonna see some rawness too now. They're gonna see some real killer. So just get ready to see all his whole life, his whole trajectory, if you will. You know what I mean?
And early in the season, we see the projects that he's brought up in.
Yeah.
We get the story behind those projects, and we see exactly what Remi fights for his people.
Yeah.
Is that something that you felt like this is something that needs to be showcased? Because it hasn't been showcased on BMF yet, really.
Yeah, man. I really felt like, man, shout out to Heather, the writing team,
Yes.
for saying, hey, we want to make it, and we want to be intentional about telling the story of Techwood. And so I think that's going to really open people's eyes to what was happening during that time, and it's going to give us an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We got to protect our hoods.
Yeah.
It's up to us to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, last question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Remi's a big threat this season. A huge threat this season. We see, as you said, some real killing in this season,
Yes,
early on in
sir.
this one here with Remi.
Yeah.
When you saw that, did you think like, okay, we know we're going to get humanity, we know we're going to get killing, but are we going to get the heart of really what makes this character tick?
Yes, and we talked about that on set, and we shared that they're gonna see that his brother was murdered during the Atlanta child murders. So that was something that was going on, and that affected him as a human being, right? And so they get to see this real person live, and that's the beauty of it. We're all flawed.
Exactly.
We're not perfect. So we get to see some of that, what it looks like,
There you go. Thank you again for stopping
Yes,
by,
sir.
man. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see even more of you
Oh,
this season.
man, thank you, King.
All right, peace and blessings.